People ask me a lot about what does it really mean to fear God? What did that mean? Why does it look like this God of the Old Testament is not the same God that Yeshua spoke of in the New Testament? I'm like, well, the reason for that is because it's not the same. Completely different. Matter of fact, the one of the Old Testament is much more conceptual, whereas what he was trying to do with Allah from the Aramaic in what we now call the New Testament was stripping away that persona of some kind of all-powerful being that somehow has power over us rather than Allah, which literally means the absolute only being. That everything that is real, that is eternal, is contained within that absolute. I don't really use the word oneness too often, unless I'm referencing the fact that I don't use the word oneness. Because saying even one is a mathematical issue that now implies two, or even zero. So I don't really use that. I'm saying an absolute, which means that true base of what Deepak Chopra would call pure potentiality, which is such a beautiful way to describe this, that field of fertility that Yeshua spoke of. Well, this fear God is an interesting thing because we have these experiences where we feel true overwhelm and our energy body opens up to such a point. If I had a balloon or the Hoberman sphere that I always use that I open up, you can blow into a balloon. Think of this like the temple. This is our body temple. And you blow into a balloon and you can get it right to that point where it's about to burst. And when it gets there, that had an actual meaning in ancient Aramaic, not about the balloon, but about the energy body. When it opens up to that point where it literally feels as if you can't open anymore, that was called the pinnacle of the, what did he call this? The temple. Pinnacle of the temple. Well, the energy body opens and those fight or flight experiences, ecstasy, transcendence in music, in sex, in art, whatever that may be, seeing the eyes of your baby for the first time. That energy body opening. What's an interesting thing, though, is we've mistakenly taken fear and laid it over of that ecstatic experience, that open experience. So what are we really supposed to feel for God? The word's tadkul. The cool sound in tadkul or tadkhul or dakul, or there's so many different roots. The cool sound means whole, full, everything, all embracing. In other words, something that's very much a totality, completely taking you over, okay? Now, I like to explain this like this. Here is the way we should be talking about what we now label as fear God. Be afraid of your source. I'm sorry, it's absolute stupidity. Okay, that being said, there's nothing you can hide from the absolute. Nothing. So let's just put it this way, that there's a mother and she's raking leaves. It's autumn right here in Asheville, North Carolina, here in the mountains. It's gorgeous. And let's say she's raking leaves and one of the children is playing ball in her front yard, one of her babies. And it's a 20-mile-an-hour zone and a car comes flying through, as they do right here in West Asheville. We live right in the heart of West Asheville, North Carolina, and people fly up and down these streets all the time. And there's kids on the side of the road, and there's animals and people. And let's just say that the child's running out to grab that ball and runs right into the path of the vehicle. Now, mothers do these amazing things. They lift cars with a single hand and pull their kid out with the other. Incredible. Let's say mother does that leap and bound like Superman, and she pulls that child back. Now, here's the question I have for you. When does she feel the fear? Oh, she feels it after. What is fear? False evidence appearing real. It is the effect of a moment of overwhelm when your system is at what I would call the evolutionary moment of truth, a point of peak functioning to where it almost can't handle the processing of any more energy. And what happens is the balloon gets really big, and that's that whoa, that ecstatic experience, and then it starts coming down, and that's when the vulnerability and the intimacy comes in. And that's when the fears and the insecurities and the thoughts dump out. No, we're not supposed to fear God. We're supposed to be in ecstasy, in absolute pure love with God, as God. Drop the fear, because you are not separate from Source. It's not even possible, ever. It's only possible here. And there's nothing that you've ever thought that's anything more than a delusion of a mind that doesn't exist in the first place. I love you, and I adore you. Stay open.